Anyway, what we do have to talk and complain about are the Detroit Pistons. Now, this may be the last time we discuss the Pistons for a long time, until a trade is made, until some sort of change is made, until the team owner comes out and speaks publicly again. I don't know. This feels like this is going to be a while before we talk about the Pistons again, because frankly, they're miserable. They're a lot worse than my back is. Watching the game last night, and I think there were a lot of people watching the game last night. I'm not sure what people were watching for. I mean, you're watching for one of a couple reasons. I'm not sure what the majority of people fell into it last night. I watched because I wanted them to snap the streak. I wanted them to win. I didn't want them to have this all alone, because it sucks to have that all alone. I mean, this is the scarlet letter, man. You don't want this. And here they are. They're playing, and I can't really fault the players. They're playing their asses off, right? They're just not talented enough to close out games. They don't have any veteran leadership. They have no veteran leadership. I think they've got a good coach, but this coach is tasked with a near impossible job, which is trying to turn this team into a winning team when you don't have the veteran leadership. And these guys are learning it on the fly, but they're so young. They're in their third year, most of these guys, or less, when it comes to the core group. It's tough. I feel for them. They get to a 14-point lead, but it's in the first quarter, and that's going to change because that's basketball. That's how it works. And it changed. It flipped by the quarter. Pistons led by 6 after the first quarter. Well, then then it goes to a 7-point deficit at halftime because they give up 36 points to Brooklyn in the second quarter. Pistons come out firing in the third quarter, outscore them 31-27. And then they get outscored in the fourth quarter, 40-27. They tried. Cade Cunningham put the team on his back in the second half of the game. And he was brilliant in the second half. Scored 41 points. What was it? 37 of them in the second half or whatever it was. Problem was, where was he in the first half? Well, in the first half, he's trying to get other players involved and to varying degrees of success. Certainly in the first quarter, it worked. Jalen Duren was working. Hey, welcome back, Jalen Duren. But then it kind of, blows up a little bit in the second quarter because they bring out a bunch of bench players and they're not getting the job done. Everything's going to hell in a handbasket. And then they come out in the second half and they play better in the second half, but not good enough. And actually, they outscored Brooklyn 58-57 in the second half. I should say, 58-57. But it wasn't good enough. And at the end of the game, you're seeing a lot of weird things happen. Alec Burks launching a long three-point shot when you're down by 5 with 34 seconds left or whatever it was, after Cade Cunningham had been driving to the lane and picking up easy twos. And the Pistons were hacking away at Brooklyn. They'd go to the free throw line, and the Nets weren't making their free throws. They made 27 out of 43 free throws. That's less than 63%. That's not good. You can play that free throw game, and it was actually working in the Pistons' favor. So that was a mistimed three. Although, it came out of a timeout. I'm assuming that was the play that was called. So I'm scratching my head on that. And then he had some back-to-back really strange passes that took place where guys weren't ready for it. And you had a missed free throw by the Nets, and it wasn't rebounded by the Pistons. And it's just it was just too much. Everything coming together, and they just don't have the right team. And it's unfortunate, too, because it seemed like there was a good crowd there last night. I don't know what the percentage was, what the actual, how many people were actually there. What they're going to say, attendance-wise. They're going to say it was pretty packed because the tickets sold. And according to that, there were over almost 20,000 fans. Under capacity, 97% of capacity I don't know how many were actually there, but I'm guessing it was still pretty packed because it looked that way. And it seemed loud. But this is the question I want to ask the people. 248-539-9797. What are your feelings now? Now they own the record. It's all theirs, right? Pistons have it. They're not getting towards the record. They're not sharing the record. They have the record. It's all theirs. And by all counts, it looks like they're going to expand on this 27-game losing streak. And who knows when it's going to end. 248-539-9797. Same number to text us as well. What are you thinking right now with this team? Was last night it? Like that was the peak of your interest in the team? They didn't win the game. They lost. They have the record, and now you're done. Or are you like, okay, maybe this is something to build off of. I'm watching because of Cade, or I'm watching to see the young guys play. Jalen Duren comes back last night. His first game back, he grabs 15 rebounds. He scores 12 points. There's something there. Are you watching to see who gets traded? I mean, what are your thoughts on the Pistons? Because it's hard for me to really even compartmentalize it right now, other than think that for me the passion's gone. It kind of reached its acme last night and just died. And it died with the loss. 248-539-9797. This is 97.1 The Ticket.